What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to my South America travel vlog voyage. Now, here we are in Salvador Bahia in Brazil, a place where we really didn't film or record all that much because even amongst Brazilians, Salvador Bahia is known to be not the most safest place to visit, but yet we still went. Everything was okay. Nothing happened to us, but yet we still took our usual travel safety precautions while in Brazil to the T. So we really didn't walk around with much of our electronics, and this actually turned out to be a good thing because it gave us the opportunity to be fully engaged in Salvador Bahia and to really take in the spirit of the city. Now, some interesting things about Salvador Bahia is that Bahia is actually a state within Brazil. So the same way we have states in the United States such as California, Texas, and Florida, they also have states in Brazil, and one of those states is Bahia, and the capital of Bahia is Salvador. Now, Salvador Bahia actually used to be the first ever capital in Brazil between 1549 and 1763. And this is because there was a large port in that city that allowed the Portuguese, who actually were the ones who colonized Brazil, to do a lot of trade and commerce. And if you know anything about Brazilian history, one of the main things that they were trading at this port were African slaves. In fact, I believe that Brazil was one of the first nations in the Americas that have slaves, as well as be one of the last nations to really abolish it. And the reason this being was that it was so easy to bring African slaves to Brazil because Salvador Bahia is actually the furthest northern tip of Brazil, which is very close to the continent of Africa. And I believe a plane flight from Salvador Bahia to Africa is anywhere from like 5 to 7 hours, depending on what African nation you're going to. Now, this gave them the ability to constantly bring in fresh African slaves, which was able to revitalize and keep going that African culture. And how that plays a role today in modern times is that now in Salvador Bahia, what you'll see is a huge population of Afro-Brazilians that live there with very strong African heritage and a huge representation of African culture. So much so that I was told that some elders there not only just speak Portuguese, but they also speak African dialects. Now, another cool thing that we got to do while we were there was go to a soccer match, or in Portuguese, I believe it's pronounced futebol. And during that time, while we were in Brazil, there was actually a Brazilian Cup going on, which is similar to the World Cup, but only within Brazil. And if you know anything about soccer in the World Cup, Brazil has won the most titles, so you can only imagine they really take this sport very seriously. So much so that there was this warning message that they kept playing at the end of the game, and luckily the guy next to me spoke English, and he told me that the warning message was saying to the away team that if you didn't feel safe walking to your car alone, that you could get police escort. Now, of course, after the game, Salvador won. Or Bahia won, and we even got to see some news reporters engaging with fans, which is a pretty awesome experience. Another cool thing about Salvador Bahia are the beaches and sunset. In fact, I was told that the sun sets in the same location year-round in Salvador. Now, I don't know if that's how true that is, but what I can tell you for sure is that, yes, they do have some beautiful sunsets that you can take pictures of or just really kick back and relax and just enjoy. Also, another cool thing about Salvador Bahia is that it's also the place where Michael Jackson filmed his music video, They Don't Really Care About Us, alongside the drum ensemble known as Olundum, which actually performs weekly there in Salvador. We weren't able to see the entire drum ensemble, but we got to hear them practice and many other drum ensembles playing in the street. And I mean, there's so much rhythm and vibration in Salvador. I mean, you hear drumming going on everywhere. Another cool thing we got to see are these street performers that's practicing what looks like a dance known as capoeira. Now, capoeira isn't necessarily a dance. It was invented by Brazilian slaves as a form of combat to help them build up the physical and mental stamina to overcome their oppressors so that they can escape bondage and slavery. But under the watchful eye of the slave master, they had to disguise it as an acrobatic dance. So in all actuality, they were actually practicing hand-to-hand combat that could better prepare them to take on their oppressors, so that, like I said, they can escape the bondage of slavery. Now, another cool thing too about these performers is that you can actually engage with them. They'll even teach you a few moves. I will warn you, definitely stretch. And also, it's not necessarily free. They will pretty much demand a tip from you. But still, if you engage with them any sort of way, I recommend you to definitely tip them. Also in Salvador is an African-Brazilian museum. And in this museum, you're going to see a lot of African antiques. You're going to learn about a lot of the African culture that maintained itself through over the years in Brazil. Another real cool antique that you're going to see in here is an antique pick that the ancestors used to use to manage and maintain their hair. And it was very interesting because, as you see here, a picture of Terrell holding up his pick next to these antique picks, and it's actually kind of interesting how the functionality just hasn't changed. Only the material in which it's made has changed, but overall it still remains the same. So like they say, if something isn't broke, don't fix it. Another cool thing you'll see are these large wooden slabs with carvings on it, and these carvings are African deities from the Yoruba religion of West Africa. And in Brazil, there's kind of this underground religion known as candomblé, which is a mixture of this Yoruba religion from West Africa and the Roman Catholic form of Christianity. And in this religion, the same in the Yoruba religion, they believe in multiple deities known as orishas. So it's a pantheon because they believe in more than one deity. And you may have heard some of these names of these orishas, such as Yemiya, Oshun, Shango, Oya, Ogun. But for me, I've heard these names before, but they really didn't come to life for me until I was able to sit in on a candomblé ceremony while we were in Salvador. And it was very enlightening to see the religion that's associated with these names and these deities actually being practiced. And there's also a level of curiosity there, because when I walked in there, the people in there looked just like me, but yet we come from two completely different worlds, speak two completely different languages, but yet our ancestry is the same. So it's definitely a level of curiosity, and it really just resonated with me to just observe it, and it was just a very interesting and enlightening experience. And the reason I say kind of underground, because there was a point in time where it used to be illegal to practice candomblé as well as capoeira. Like, you could be arrested for practicing that religion or practicing capoeira. Now, also in Salvador, there's a lake with several statues, and I didn't know what these statues were until I actually made a friend while I was in Salvador who spoke English. Shout out to Victoria. She really put me on game in terms of educating me on the history of Salvador, on what's going on there currently. And she also told me that these statues in this lake are actually these orishas, these deities. And I thought that was really amazing to see African spirituality being represented like that, just out in the open. It was just amazing to me, because I had never really seen that before. Now here you'll see some African or Afro-Brazilian cuisine. I can't remember exactly all that was in this dish, but it was very interesting because they served it to us in this wooden bowl. And they also, alongside it, gave us fresh coconuts as a beverage. And this meal cost us about 25 reals, which is about $5 or $6. And it was definitely worth every penny. It was definitely some great food, and just an overall just great cultural experience to not only eat the food of that stems from the Afro-Brazilian culture, but also in just the way it was served to us in that wooden bowl. Now, some other cool things about Salvador is that Salvador, from what I hear from other Brazilians, that it has some of the best carnival festivities, even better than Rio. Many Brazilians told me that the carnival in Rio is very commercialized because it's what gets broadcasted to the world, so it's a lot of glitz and glamour. But they were telling me if I wanted to see the real, authentic experience of carnival, that Salvador is the place to be. Largely in part because that strong African culture there, Afro-Brazilian culture there, mixed with the culture, the carnival culture of Brazil in general, kind of blend all that together, and I heard it makes for a wonderful carnival experience. Another real cool thing there that we realized, we met a few African Americans that went to visit there decades ago and loved it so much that they just stayed. Met partners down there and now have families and maybe only go home once or twice every year. And the last thing that Brazil in general blessed us with, because Salvador is actually the last destination of our entire journey in South America and our time in Brazil, and it blessed us with one last beautiful sunset as we were getting on our plane to actually head to Colombia. We love Colombia so much, we decided to go back, and plus it was cheaper to get home from Colombia than Brazil, which you'll see in the vlogs after this one. But overall, I really hope you guys enjoyed these travel vlogs of not just South America, but my entire gap year, now that everything is starting to come to an end. So remember to like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned. Peace.